Thank you so much for joining this lesson. We'll be preparing for the Kpsea 2025 examination by going through the paper that was done by the candidates of 2024 who are now the current grade 7s. This is the exam which is required by learners in the CBE to transition from primary to the junior school. Therefore, I hope the learners who are having an opportunity to follow through will benefit a lot from our programs. Remember to subscribe to this channel and also to share the link with your friends. Invite somebody to our broadcast. Let them also benefit from these. The questions are multiple choice ones, but we're going to display all the working when necessary in every particular question. Starting with number 1, Jackson read the following number on a chalkboard. The number is starting with 76859. Then the question is, what is the number in words? So if we are to read this number in words, this is in the tens of thousands and 6 is in thousands. Therefore, we'll be having 76,000 already. It's good to put a comma there. That is 76,000. Then we have 800. 800. 76 is in the thousands. 8 is in the hundreds. Then we have 50, which is in tens, and 9, which is in ones. Therefore, 76,859. So we look for a choice now which matches what we are analyzing here. 76,000. They are all starting with 76,000. Then we follow with the 800 and so 76,800 and you see this one is also proceeding with 800 and 859. I think B is a bit reliable. Look at A. They say 895, which is not so. So we eliminate A. Let's check part C. Actually, it's wrong to come up with the right choice before you go through all the other choices to know how wrong they are. So please don't arrive at the correct answer before you go through all the other answers. However, you might doubt everything else. It's good to check what C says. 76,500. You see now, it's not 500, it's 800. So we eliminate C. 76,900. It's not 900, it's 800. So we also eliminate D. That makes B the correct choice in number 1. Number 2, a bakery sold, we have a number here, loaves of bread in a year. What is the total value of digit 7 in the number? Digit 7. So we are supposed to first identify the place values of the digit 7. 3 is in ones, 5 is in tens, 6 is in hundreds, and 7 is in thousands. Therefore, 7 is in thousands. So the total value shall be 7 times the place it occupies, 7,000. And see, they have given the total values in words. So we look for 7,000, not 70,000, not 700, not 700,000, 7,000, strictly 7,000. So in number 2, C is the right answer. Look at number 3. Now, a teacher wrote square root numbers on a chalkboard, which formed a pattern as shown. The square root of 121, the square root of 144, square root of 169, then the square root of 196. Now, for you to, what is the next square root number in the pattern? According to the pattern here, this is the square of 11. This is for 12. This is for 13, 14. So now we need 15. What answer gives us 15 as the square root? That will be the next in our pattern. And that will be 15. When squared, we get 225. So the square root of 225 now becomes the next in this particular pattern, making B the right choice in number 3. We proceed to number 4. Number 4 says that a lorry stopped on a weighing scale. The reading on the weighing scale was 8,501. What is the number rounded off to the nearest thousands? To the nearest thousands. Therefore, we first identify the digit in the thousands position. Look at this. 8, 5, 0, 1. 1 is in ones, 0 is in tens, 5 is in hundreds, and 8 is in thousands. So it's 8 that we are considering. Then now we ask ourselves, what is the number just before the thousands position? The number is 5. 5 is already 5. And it's able to increase 8 to 9. Therefore, this becomes 9 and everything else a 0. Therefore, the number becomes 9,000. Remember, for the digit to increase the one that we are, our key point, this is our point of reference now. So for this number to be increased to the next digit or to remain the same, it depends on the previous digit's value. So if this 5 was a 4, a 3, a 2, or a 0, or a 1, 8 would have remained 8. But now that it's 5, it has to increase the 8. So either 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, they increase the number to the next digit. Therefore, it's already 5, and it has to take us to 9,000. D becoming the right choice in number 4. Number 5, there were 52 classrooms in a school. Each classroom had 36 learners. How many learners were in the school? We are supposed to apply multiplication here or addition anyway. Depends on how you take this question. It's also good for you to realize that multiplication is a special way of addition. Instead of adding 36 learners 52 times, we add 36 plus 36 until we consider the 52nd classroom. That will be very tedious. So multiplication becomes an easier way of adding up. So 52, the number of classrooms, should be multiplied by 36 that way. Okay, I know the learners in grade 6 don't use the calculator. They have to use the long multiplication. So you multiply 6 by 2, giving us 12. That's 2. You carry 1. You multiply 6 by 5, giving us 30. Then you add the 1. That gives you 31. That way. Then in the next, you start with the 3 by 2, giving us 6. And 3 by 5, giving us 15. Then now you can add up these 2, 7, 8, 1. You see the learners are 1872. Do we have a choice like that? You go now to the answers. 1872 is option C. That is the total number of learners in this particular classroom. Number 6 now. A shoemaker joined 2 pieces of leather as shown. We have a triangle here, which is a right-angled triangle, having a dimension of 16, another one of 12. Then we have a rectangular part again, 20 by 40. Okay. What is the area of the combined pieces of leather? There is no formula that directly can give us the area of this combination because this shape is not a regular. But if we treat this shape as a rectangle, then a triangle, we'll be able now to add up the 2 areas and we'll get the area of the combination. So first, we can deal with the triangle. We deal with the triangle first. Area of a triangle is usually given by half times base times height. Substituting, we'll talk about half, a base of 16, and a vertical height of 12. You look at this by 12, okay, by 2, 1, and by 2, you get 8. So 8 by 12 gives us 96. That is square centimeters. That is one of the areas. The second area now is rectangular. So for the rectangle part, we should be able to talk about length times width. Now in length times width, we'll be having 40 multiplied by 20. This will give us 800 square centimeters. Now with these two areas, we can talk about total area, combined area. So total area shall be 800 plus 96, totaling to 896 square centimeters. So do we have such an area in our choices? Yes. Part B. That becomes the best choice for number 6. Look at the working. It's good to organize your work very well. It's good to organize your work very well. Even though the questions are multiple choices, you are people who are transitioning to the next level, whereby questions will be structured and examiners will be claiming well-organized work. So please start knowing the arrangement of work, even at this level, because you are transitioning to your next level, which requires a lot of commitment. Otherwise, we are encouraging you to join the junior schools. Look at our consultation line 0704 15 33 66. Teacher Boniface. That's my name and line. Kindly, you can reach out for more consultations if maybe you don't understand a few learning areas, not learning areas as such, but in mathematics, some learning strands and substrands. We shall help where necessary. So please feel free to reach out. That's also our M-Pesa number, very active. You can make use of the same. Number 7, during a race, the recorded times for 3 runners were 9.587 seconds, 9.558 seconds, and 9.578 seconds. Arrange the decimal numbers in descending order. They are all starting with 9. So that means we will consider the first decimal point for us to know which one is the smallest, which one is the greatest. Therefore, they are already tying when we start with the first digit, which is a 9 for all the cases. We are arranging in descending order. So we will start with the greatest towards the least. That is the meaning of descending order. Descending order means from the greatest towards the least. Ascending is the opposite, from the least towards the greatest. So in this case, we go to the first decimal point, 5. It's 5 in all the cases. But now after 5, the second decimal place, we are having 8 in the first time. The second time is having a 5, and the other one now is a 7. So that means now the greatest one is the one whose second point is 8. So 9.587. That one is the greatest amongst them. Then now the one which is having 5 definitely now becomes the smallest, because after this we have another one whereby in the second position there is a 7, 8. Now we will have this one, 5, 5, 8. Therefore, we look for the order now, which starts with 9.58, 9.58, 9.58, which is A, then 57, 55. Actually, the others are not even starting with 9.58, all of them. So we eliminate everything else. Look at number 8. A women group had 1055 goats or 1055 goats in a ranch. They shared the goats equally amongst 24 members. How many goats remained after sharing? So we're going to divide 1055 amongst 24 members. So we look at 1055 over 24. You know, each member will receive 43 goats first. 43 goats. Then how many are going to remember? To remain 24 women times 43 goats. That is 1032. So we take the total minus 1032. This gives us 23. So 23 goats now. 23 goats is a subtraction. 23 goats are going to remain because when they are 24 and each gets 43 goats, now the 24 women, each is already having 43, that will total to 1032, meaning that the 23 that will remain cannot be shared amongst them to get. But if there was just an additional goat, just one, they would have gotten 44 each. If there was just one additional goat, like if the total goats were 1056, they would have shared everything and equally, and everyone would have gotten 44 goats. But now that they can't be divided fully, we have 43 each and 23 remaining. So 23 remaining makes be our right choice. A tailor had a piece of cloth measuring 17 meters, 50 centimeters. He cut the cloth into 5 equal pieces to make trousers. What is the length of each piece in centimeters? So we are supposed to divide the length, which is in meters and also centimeters, into 5 equal parts, meaning we are supposed to first combine the length into centimeters because the final answer is needed in centimeters. So 17 meters should be multiplied by 100 first. This gives us 1700 centimeters. Then we are also having 50 centimeters. So this is 1750 centimeters. This is the whole length now converted to centimeters. Now we take the length of 1750 and we divide it by 5 equal pieces. 1750 out of 5. This gives me 350. Yeah, 350. Therefore, C is the right answer. Each piece of cloth shall be 350. 350 centimeters, of course. Look at number 10. Very good question. Ali and Baraza shared a loaf of bread. Ali ate 2 out of 5, while Baraza ate 1 out of 4 of the bread. What fraction of the bread remained? So first, we can check the consumed fractions. Ali consuming 2 out of 5, Baraza consuming a quarter of the same bread. We can start with LCM of, I have to add in the long process of addition so that I don't overuse the calculator and at least ensure that I work with every particular learner. 20, we divide it by 5, we get 4, then 4 now multiplies 2. That gives us 8, plus 20 divided by 4 gives us 5, and 5 multiplies 1 to remain 5. So this is now 13 over 20. This is now the consumed proportion of the bread. So we can say this, 13 out of 20 has been used. 13 out of 20. If 13 over a total of 20 has been used, then it means we just have to take 20 minus 13. And here comes 17. Okay, 7, sorry. 7 out of the 20. This one is what has remained. Look at that. Just look at that. How many proportions have been spent? 13 out of 20. So total proportions in this bread are 20 and the consumed part, 13 proportions. How many proportions are remaining? 7 over 20. Do we have the right choice really? Yes. That takes us now to part C as our most appropriate answer. Okay, look at this program here as we continue learning, ladies and gentlemen, in our online school, Shifting Grades. We have what we are calling the one-term ahead. And actually, this targets more people who are transitioning from one level of education to the next. So it's having the junior school students, and the grade 6 learners that I'm addressing now are the junior school students of next year. Therefore, from 20th of November to 12th December, we shall have the one-term ahead program via Google Meet, very interactive forum, whereby through that program, you can ask questions, you can seek clarity from teachers, you can also respond to questions as we cover content of your next level. Therefore, we'll be covering 2026 term 1 work. 2026 term 1 work, by the time you're reporting to junior school, to senior school, to the next level, if you're in grade 7 now, you'll be introduced to grade 8 term 1 work. If you're in grade 8, you shall get an introduction to grade 9 work. Therefore, grade 6 is the grade 7 now being addressed in this particular poster. Kindly find time and join us. Remember, our consultation line is on the board. Our consultation line is 0704 15 33 66. Please reach out for more information about our programs. Otherwise, you're most welcome and highly appreciated for being part of this great institution of Shifting Grades Online School. This is the home of academics. 11. Sheila had 0.2 kilograms of tea leaves in the cupboard. She used 0.6 kilograms of the tea to make tea. All right? She calculated the fraction of tea leaves as follows. So we're having 0.06. That is the fraction that was used. The fraction of the tea leaves that was used out of the total. So the fraction is now expressed and left as a decimal, 0.3. Then now we go to the question. What is the answer as a percentage? For you to convert either a decimal or a fraction to percentage, you just multiply by 100. Therefore, 0.3 multiplied by 100, this should be multiplied by 100. This will give us exactly 30%. Therefore, the percentage is 30. Look at part B. Yeah, the percentage is 30. Number 12, I can see this paper really focused on fractions so much. A salesman traveled 2 out of 5 of his journey by rail, then 1 over 3 of the journey by matatu, and 4 out of 15 of the journey on foot. What fraction of the journey was traveled by rail and matatu? That means we are adding the fractions for rail, which is 2 out of 5, and also the fraction by matatu, 1 over 3. This one now we take again the LCM of 5 and 3, which is 15. Then we divide LCM by the denominators. 15 divided by 5 gives us 3. Then 3 multiplies 2 to give us 6. Plus 15 is divided by 3 to give us 5. And 5 multiplies 1 to give us 5. This is 11 out of 15 proportions of the journey. We have the right answer here. We have the right answer there. Remember, fractions should be left in their simplest forms. Their simplest forms, and already that is in its simplest form. Look at number 13. A jeweler measured the diameter of a wedding ring and found it to be 20 millimeters. What is the diameter of the ring in centimeters? We know that for every 10 millimeters, we make 1 centimeter. Now, in this case, we are having 20 millimeters. How many centimeters shall we be having? We multiply 1 times 20 out of 10. And this gives us exactly 2 centimeters, making A the right answer. Remember to convert millimeters to centimeters. We just divide the millimeters by 10. That's why I took 20 over 10 to get 2. If it were centimeters to millimeters, we would have multiplied by 10. Number 14. A cupboard of length 30 centimeters, width 15, and height 40 is full of liquid detergents. How many liters of detergent are in the container? All right, this is a cuboid. We have the dimensions. So let's compute first the volume. Then we'll be converting it to capacity later. How would we get volume of a cuboid container? Length times width times height. Therefore, at this point now, we talk about a length of 30, a width of 15, a height of 40 to give us volume. So I'm multiplying 30 by 15, then by 40, and this gives me 18,000. Then now we can talk about conversion again. This is cubic centimeters. Let's talk about conversion now and say, in every 1,000 cubic centimeters, this forms 1 liter of capacity. So when now the cubic centimeters are 18,000, how many liters shall we be having? We divide by 1,000. This gives us exactly 18 liters, making D the most appropriate choice. So we are supposed again to notice that if we are converting cubic centimeters to liters, we divide by 1,000. In case it was liters to cubic centimeters, we would have multiplied by the same factor, 1,000. 15. I don't know whether we're moving very fast. I don't know whether we are together. I don't know whether you guys are getting us. Remember to subscribe. Remember to comment. Remember to reach out. Let's know whether you are getting us. Actually, this is our first edition to reach out to the Kpsea candidates. And I hope that you guys are getting something. You guys are learning something like that. Look at number 15. A cement factory had 8 tons of cement. They packed the cement in 50 kilogram bags. How many bags of cement were packed? This again involving conversion of units. This is purely measurement. And actually, learners should understand that when it comes to measurement is very broad. And there is no way we can fail to examine measurement, which involves computation of quantities, which involves measuring of quantities, and interconversion. If it's mass, for example, we have kilogram as the SI unit, then we have multiples of the kilograms, sub-multiples of kilogram. If it's length, we have the meter as the SI unit, we have multiples of the meter, sub-multiples of meter, like that. Therefore, you're supposed to understand that really measurement is very crucial. In this point, we first convert the tons into kilograms. We know that in every 1 ton, there is 1,000 kilograms. What about when the tons are 8? This would be 8 times 1,000, because every ton is coming with 1,000 kilograms. Then it shall be 8,000 kg, like that. So now we can talk of all this cement now being packed into 50 kilogram bags. How many bags shall be obtained? So we'll be having 8,000, the total mass, divided by 50. Now, when we divide this by 50, you see the 0 first will cancel there. Then 800 being divided by 5 now becomes 160. These are the bags that we shall obtain in that packing. Rukia, in number 16 now, bought a dress for 700 Kenya shillings from a supermarket. She gave the cashier 1,000 shillings note. She received the balance in several notes of 50 Kenya shillings each. How many 50 shillings notes did she receive as balance? So let's get the balance first. We are having a 1,000 not being given, but the dress is costing only 700. Therefore, the balance shall be 003. We have 300 Kenya shillings as the balance. Now we don't have a note actually of 300 in Kenya. This is about money which is still under measurement. So we don't have a note of 300. We have several denominations of money, but now this particular cashier at the supermarket chose to give Rukia 50 bob notes throughout. Therefore, we take the 300, we divide by 50 shillings notes, and we discover that they were only 6 shilling notes. Again, it's good for you to know that every two 50 shillings notes form 100, and we have 300. So we'll be having 2 notes for the first 100, 2 notes for the second 100, and 2 notes for the third 100. And this gives us 6 notes. Okay, it can be, it can be approached using several angles, and you still find yourself at the answer. As long as you are reasoning logically, please feel free to proceed with a mathematical problem. Now a cooperative society, number 17, imported 4 tons, 500 kilograms of fertilizer. It distributed 2 tons, 900 kilograms to farmers. How many kilograms of fertilizer remained? The examiner is very specific. They are talking about kilogram. So you don't give the answer in any other format. So we need kilograms now that remained. The kilograms that remained. Okay. So let's talk about the conversion of everything into kilograms. 4 tons, each ton should be multiplied by 1,000 to give us the total. You have 4,000, then there is 500 kilograms. You see now, 4,000 plus 500 gives us 4,500 kg. This is the original mass. The original total mass of fertilizer, which was imported by this particular cooperative society. Then now, how much was distributed to farmers? 2 tons. Each ton should be multiplied by 1,000 to give us kilograms. 900. You see, 2,900 kilograms, like that. Like that. So now we can check what remained now. What remained here? 4,500. Everything is in kilograms, remember? 0, 0. Then this now becomes we carry 1 here. 15 minus 9 is 6. Then this is, because we carried 1 from 4, it becomes 3. So 3 minus 2 is 1. So I'm getting 1,600 kilograms of fertilizer as the remainder. Yeah. Kilograms as the remainder. So it's 1,600. That is the answer. A becomes the right choice. Let's look at number 18. Now, a group of learners spent 64.50 Kenya shillings to cultivate cabbages. They sold all the cabbages for 9,380 Kenya shillings. How much profit did they make? How much profit did they make? So in their expenditures, fertilizer, water, labor and oath had the seedlings, they had spent 6,450. But now from the sales, they are getting 93.80. When we subtract the expenses from what has been realized, we will be getting profit. So 0, 3, this now becomes 13 minus 4, which is 9. This is 9 and we borrowed 1, it became 8. So we are getting 29.30 Kenya shillings. That's the profit realized. Look at 19. The table shows the travel timetable for a bus company from Mombasa to Nairobi. So departure from Mombasa, that's where it begins the journey. 8 a.m. at Voi, 10:30, then leaves after some break of 30 minutes. 11 a.m. we leave Voi, Mtitwandei. 2 p.m. 2:45 we leave Mtitwandei, then to Nairobi now, 6:30 p.m. That's the journey. That is the travel time. In other words, how long does the journey by bus take from Mtitwandei to Nairobi? From Mtitwandei to Nairobi. The journey itself. So we begin from Mtitwandei at 2:45 and arrive at Nairobi at 6:30 p.m. So 6:30, which is the arrival time at Nairobi, we subtract the time we left Mtitwandei, which is 2:45. We should be able to know how time is subtracted. These are not decimals. This is time, which involves very crucial skill of subtracting the minutes part more so. 30 minutes. Okay, we can't subtract 45 minutes from 30. That means we are supposed to borrow from the hour side. So we borrow 1 hour to this side, which is therefore converted into minutes. So when you borrow 1 hour, you've borrowed 60 minutes. So 60 plus 30 now, we are having 90 minutes. 90 minus 45 will give us 45. Then from the hour side now, we borrowed 1 from 6, making it 5. So 5 minus 2 gives us 3. So 3 hours, 45 minutes. 3 hours, 45 minutes is now the right answer. And we have the choice as B. Yeah, we have the choice as B. Number 20. John feeds his rabbits at daytime by the time shown on the clock face. We have the clock face there. And then we can now check the question. What is the time in 24-hour clock system, or our system anyway? 24-hour system. 24-hour system. Let's first interpret the time. There are very special instructions here that it's during the day. This is during the day, not at night. Okay. Therefore, it's during the day, and what has been displayed is 1:30. Now, if it was the 12-hour clock system, we would have said 1:30 p.m. It's good for you to know that when it is in the p.m., we are saying p.m. because it can't be a.m. 1 a.m. will be at night. Yeah, 1 a.m. will be at night. Therefore, it's 1:30 p.m. on a particular day when John is feeding the rabbits. Now, this time, because it is in the p.m. already, we are past 12 noon. Therefore, we add 12 here. We are past noon, so we add 12:00 to 1:30. This becomes 13:30 hours. 13:30 hours. Do we have such a choice? Yes. 13:30. 13:30. Yeah. That way. At number 21, Timothy drew some angles he compared the angles using a right angle cutout. He noticed that some angles were greater than a right angle, but less than an angle on a straight line. An angle is here, which is greater than 90, but less than an angle on a straight line, which is a straight line. So angles lying between 90 and 180. What is the name given to such angles? These are not straight angles. These are not acute angles. Remember acute angles? Acute angles are between 0 and 90. So now between 90 and 180, we call it a fanya nini? Simo. Bebarakisha. Obtuse angles. Obtuse angle. It's good to analyze all of them actually. This one we've said obtuse. Now, if angles are greater than 180, is an angle lying between 180 and 360. This one we shall call them reflex angles. Then, if an angle is exactly equal to 180, we shall say that this one is a straight line angle, so straight angle. We call them straight angles. If an angle is exactly 90, this one, we call it a right angle. Right angle. If an angle is less than 90, this one is called acute angle. So that's how we distribute the names of the angles. If it is between 90 and 180, according to this now, it becomes obtuse angle. Number 22, yeah. We are told that a self-help youth group collected the following amounts of garbage for recycling. 2 tons, 200, 3 tons, 400 scrap metal, 4 tons, 350 organic waste. How many tons and kilograms of garbage did the group collect all together? We can add skillfully using several approaches. One, we can say, we can add all the tons first. So we have 2, we have 3, and we have 4, giving us 9 tons. Then let's get back to the kilograms. 200, 400, 350. So 200, 400, 350. This is a 950 kilograms. The kilograms are not making a ton. If they went beyond 1,000, they would have formed a ton. So that's why I wanted to add the kilograms separately. So now we talk about 9 tons, 950 kilograms, making A the right choice. 23, we are told that a welder had a metal bar of length 93 centimeters, 3 millimeters. He cut 85 centimeters, 6 millimeters of the metal to make a window frame. What length of the metal bar remained? So we subtract 93, these are centimeters, 3 millimeters. Then we subtract 85, 6. You discover that when we are subtracting these, the millimeters, which are 6, cannot be subtracted from 3. So we carry a whole centimeter. Centimeter equals to 10 millimeters. So now it becomes 13. We subtract 6. This becomes 13 minus 6 is 7, right? So 7 millimeters shall remain here. From the 93, we carried 1 centimeter, making it 92. Then now we subtract 85 from 92, still giving us 7. So 7 centimeters, 7 millimeters, making B the right choice. 24. Lois and her daughter Beatrice fetched a total of 16 jerrycans of water from a river. Lois fetched 4 more jerrycans of water than Beatrice. We are told that we let the number of jerrycans that Beatrice fetched be represented by X. Which of the following equations correctly represents the information? So for Beatrice, we're talking about X, meaning that Lois shall have fetched, let's look at Lois. Lois fetched 4 more jerrycans. Then 4 more. So what Beatrice fetched, we add 4. That is it. Then we are supposed now to understand that the total jerrycans were 16. Therefore, X plus X again plus 4 should give us 16. So we look for this expression. It can be simplified further. It can simplify further. Like this can become, 2x, and 4 can be taken to the right-hand side where it's subtracted to give us 14, the value of x. Okay, I think this is now not an expression. I'm moving ahead to solve the equation, and we didn't have to solve. We are just writing the equation. So instead of finding the x, let's just stick to the interpretation of this information, which makes part B the right answer according to this. So without further simplification, just pure interpretation of this information, B becomes the right answer. Jane picked an empty packet of milk in the school compound during a cleaning exercise. She observed that the packet had 4 faces and was in the shape of a pyramid. How many edges did the packet have? So look at this. Jane is picking a milk packet from the compound. Then this particular packet is having 4 faces, and it is a pyramid in shape. 4 faces, meaning that we have, let me show you. I think this is a triangular prism anyway. A triangular prism. So if A, B, C, D, like that, the faces are 4. They are all triangular. So let's now identify the edges. Should not edge. An edge is like A, B, B, C, like that. So the edges are going to be, we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 edges. Yeah, those are the edges. A, B, C, D are vertices, which are 4. So the faces and the vertices are equal to 4, but the edges are 6. Abdul drew an isosceles triangle. Which of the following statements is a correct property of the triangle he drew? It had 4 sides, not really. Triangle cannot have 4 sides. 2 sides were parallel, not really. In a triangle, sides meet. So we don't have parallel sides in a triangle, so that's a wrong. 2 angles were equal. This is true. Another true statement would have been 2 sides were equal. And also the base angles made by those particular equal sides are also equal. So C is right. All sides are equal. That is for a triangle which is equilateral and not isosceles. Yeah. Number 27. A tourist company carried learners using 2 buses and several vans to a game park. Now, the number of buses and vans were less than 8. The number of buses and vans were less than 8. Let the number of vans be represented by X. Which of the following inequalities correctly represents the given information? So we are having 2 buses and several vans. So the number of buses equals to 2. Vans are several. Let the number of vans be X. The number of buses and vans were less than X. So when we add X and 2, this total number should be less than 8. This number should be less than 8. You see, this is the inequality symbol for less than 8. So we look for this statement now in the choices that we have. Remember, X plus 2 is just the same as 2 plus X less than 8. That way. So which statement here shall be true? 2 plus X less than 8. A is right. Number 2, in part B, they are saying greater than 8. And we've not been told that. The others are having a minus, which is not the same. All right. A carpenter joined pieces of wood to make a door, as shown. So we can see a door here with some marks on the door. Which of the following pairs of wood are pairs of holes? We're supposed to read carefully. Which of the following pairs of wood are perpendicular? You know, perpendicular means they are meeting at a right angle. They meet this way. If this is one, it meets the other one like this. One is vertical, the other one is horizontal. Perfectly vertical and perfectly horizontal without inclining to any angle. So pairs of perpendicular, we can see these wood M and O, they are perpendicular to one another. This is O. Then from the others, we can also see something else like Q and O. This Q and O, they are still perpendicular to one another. We can also check something like a P and O. P and O still perpendicular to one another. Therefore, let's check out of the choices. From what I'm analyzing, M and O is already here. We are not having Q and O. So we don't have a second option, which is right. P and O is also not there. So MO becomes right. That's the meaning of perpendicular to one another. Perpendicular to one another. That too. At number 29 now, a nurse in a clinic recorded the number of children vaccinated between Monday and Friday. You can see we have a bar graph here showing the number of vaccinated children in a certain clinic. What is the difference between the highest and the lowest number of children vaccinated? The largest bar, of course, represents the highest number of children, which is here on Thursday, 20 of them. Then the least is on both Monday and Wednesday, whereby when you read along that, only 5 were vaccinated. So the difference between the highest and the lowest is 15 children. Yeah, 15 children. So this is the least. Number 30. A security officer in a school recorded the modes of transport used by learners while arriving at school in the morning. The table shows the data that was collected. So you can see motorbikes, Let's check the tally here. Motorbikes, this is 5, 5, and 4, giving us 14. Then for bicycles, we'll be having a 5, 5, and 3 to give us 13. Then here we have 11 of them. Then the others are 15. What is the least popular mode of transport by learners in this particular school? Matatu. Matatu is the least. They are only 11. Matatus are only 11 students. So that is the paper. Thank you so much for following. Remember to subscribe to this particular platform. Remember to share with your friends. Invite people to Shifting Grades Online School. Remember our programs here. As you go for the holiday, kindly remember to equip yourself. Reach out through our number, which has already been attached on the poster here on your bottom right. Please reach out for more consultations. See you another time. Thank you for joining us.